Hello, I'm Tom Ori from Video Gamer with Steve Burns talking about Dead Island Definitive Edition.
Oh, it's exciting. Is it? You tell me you've played it, Tom.
I was very not excited.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played it. And I'm like, this is actually lots of fun.
They fixed it then?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. Well, I played it 5 years ago on Xbox 360 and I hated it.
And it was garbage,
It's awful.
right?
I hated it so much. I could not understand why people liked it, why it got reasonable reviews, why it sold well. I can understand why it sold well. They marketed it quite well, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But it just felt like an awful game. Now, they made it look quite pretty. It looks a lot nicer than it did before. And somehow, I'm enjoying it a lot more now. It performs a lot better as well. It ran really bad in terms of frame rate on Xbox 360 and PS3. It runs better now. Not perfect by any means, but better. And possibly that has translated over to the controls feeling a bit more responsive and that kind of thing. But I'm just enjoying it a lot. Like, I've put far more hours into it than I ever thought I would for a re-release. And it's just a good, fun, zombie survival sort of RPG.
So when it was announced, it had the trailer and everything, and then it came out, and I remember seeing review builds for it, and it was just in shit state. It was really, really bad on the last-gen consoles. But I think it was one of those cases where your mileage varied on how much you were prepared to look past those issues.
Yeah.
Which is fine. People have different tastes and tolerance levels. But in terms of how you say it performs really well now, it
performs better.
Better.
Yeah.
But have they removed some of the really annoying stuff from the game, like opening doors takes forever and the weapons, the breakage and all of that?
None of that stuff annoyed me. Like, opening doors does not take forever. Weapons do wear down and you have to repair them and stuff, but it was never an issue in terms of like, this is really annoying or anything. I don't know how much they've tweaked that, if they have, because I didn't play the original enough. But it's a zombie survival game, so if you're into stuff like The Walking Dead, for example, which is very popular, I think you'll enjoy this a lot because it has a similar, although a little bit trashier feel to it. It's not like as unrelenting and grim as The Walking Dead is, even though there's lots of death and lots of zombies everywhere. But it's kind of like if the Sci-Fi Channel made it on a bit of a budget, and it's still enjoyable, but it doesn't quite have that, like, doesn't feel like proper quality, but it's fun. And there's a load of content here as well. So I think it's like 30 quid maybe. It's quite a cheap release.
And Riptide.
You get Riptide as well, which is another pretty big game. They added some stuff like base defense and you can drive a boat around and stuff. And to me, it seems pretty much the same apart from those things, which is fine because I like the core game, so that's okay. They've also got this 16-bit style 2D beat 'em up called Retro Revenge, which I thought sounded okay, but then it's more or less like a runner because the guy auto runs across the screen and you have the 3 lanes, you move up and down, and then you time your attacks to kill the zombies. And it looks quite nice, but I just got bored of it very quickly. It didn't really interest me at all after you've seen, like, oh, he's got like the lawnmower attack and stuff. That's cool. But that doesn't really matter because the core, you get the 2 fairly big games. Like the original Dead Island, you could probably put at least 20 hours into. Riptide's pretty long as well. And I think if you kind of like the idea of Dead Island, but you didn't like the fact that it looked awful, like janky controls, it just didn't feel like a very polished game at all. Now it does feel like it's had that level of like attention paid to it. It doesn't look as good as like Techland's Dying Light, which is quite a nice looking game on PS4.
It's a good game as well.
But it's on the same engine, I think, now, so it does look fairly similar. Like, it's got some modern stuff in it now, and it all just looks a lot nicer, which I know it's a bit shallow, but it does make the game more enjoyable.
Of course it does. Especially with that world, a key selling point of it. I remember seeing preview screens of it years and years and years and years ago, and that was the thing. Like, it's not just another kind of mega grim dark location. You're not in the streets, and it's not, say, like Left 4 Dead or whatever, where it's like almost permanent midnight. You were on a beach, and that was its selling point, really. Yeah,
well, you're on a beach, and you're also in a town, and you're in a jungle. And then you're also in like another sort of jungle area and on a boat and loads of other places. But it's a fun game. I think if you're looking for something that's a bit throwaway, but you can put a load of hours into it, I think it's worth giving it a go.
Hey, you! Do you enjoy reviews? Click on the left for our review of Overwatch, Blizzard's new hero shooter, or click on the right for our verdict on the new Witcher 3 DLC, Blood and Wine. And remember to subscribe.